So Jesus is travelling around again. Luke 17:11-19. Now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus travelled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us!" When he saw them, he said, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." And they went, and as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he had been healed, came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, were not all 10 cleansed? So where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner? Then he said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you whole." So Jesus is walking between Samaria and Galilee, and 10 men with leprosy approach him. Now remember, they would have been kept outside their village because no one would have been able to see them. They would have been scared. And they would have been covered in rags and sores. It's a hideous disease. And at this time, Jesus didn't touch them. So remember the previous leper, he actually touched. But this time, he just said, "Show yourselves to the priest." And at that time, if they thought they were getting better, which is impossible with leprosy, they would have gone to the priest who would examine them and then declared that they were clean of their leprosy and could go back into society and into the temple and into the synagogues. So the lepers must have been baffled. He didn't heal them there and then. They weren't healed when they started walking. They were healed as they were going to the priest. We are told that they were cleansed. The Greek word that is translated is katharizo. It was a term used to refer to a leper who was healed and no longer had the disease. But as soon as the 10th leper saw he'd been healed, he returned to Jesus to give praise to God. Jesus says, "Has no one returned except this foreigner, this Samaritan?" Remember, Jews and Samaritans didn't mix. They were sworn enemies. And Jesus says, "Your faith has made you whole." The other 9 who didn't return to give thanks or praise to God simply went on their way, and they were cleansed. But this man was made whole. That's a slightly different thing. So the cleansing was katharizo. But here, the Greek word is sozo. It's so much more than just katharizo. You're not just being cleansed, you're being set free, healed, saved, completed. It's so much more than just being cleansed. This one Samaritan was rescued. He was saved. He was made whole. And he was completed. It's quite an incredible thing. Just because he gave thanks.